Oh, I would have laughed after all that setup. Everything topples over.
Well,
review over.
It's like we're in the Blair Witch right now.
Well, that's why we got to climb the tree to get our drone out of the top of it.
Well, like the Fathom event, we might as well start this 3 times over.
Yeah, this was a fun screening.
That was hilarious.
Yeah,
What was that music that played?
It was like club music.
Yeah, it's like,
It was clearly like
baby, young Frankenstein.
they started playing the credits for Young Frankenstein from 1974.
Yeah.
But the sound was playing from what clearly was supposed to be an ad that was going to play before the movie. So it was like it was rescored with something from 2016.
I lean over to you because you'd never seen the movie before, so I lean over to Phelan and I'm like, that's not the real music.
No, it was totally the real music.
Like we're getting the soundtrack from 50 Shades of Black in front of this.
Yeah.
Like,
Young
seems
Frankenstein.
about appropriate for a 70s movie.
yeah. So then that music went away and it was quiet for a little bit. The credits continued, but it was mute. And then some other music started.
Yeah.
And then it went black again. And you just suddenly heard, it's time for riff tracks. Like, we're at the riff tracks of Young Frankenstein.
That's going to be a really challenging riff.
Yeah.
It's like, riff tracks? Did you just troll us?
Like, bravo. Fucking vo.
You wouldn't even be mad. You'd be like, all right, let's do riff tracks.
All right.
And then the credits started again, the music was right, but it was
cropped into 2:35.
Yeah, it was cropped, so it looked like they were showing a shitty DVD of it that was full screen, but they put bars over.
Yeah.
And then that went away, and then it popped up this thing like presented in its original aspect ratio. Like,
Yeah.
the what you just showed begs to differ.
Yeah.
I got the impression that what had happened was that some guy was trying to jump the gun.
Yeah.
Because after that, we got the Mel Brooks introduction.
Yeah, Mel Brooks introed
Yeah.
it, and that was maybe I don't know if that was live. There's some stuff for Fathom events where they do live things like that. I don't know if this was.
It looked like it was fairly live.
Yeah, it had to have been tonight, I think.
Oh my gosh, when he started doing the Mussolini Hitler stuff, and then he had like the kooky hair and the wig as he's doing it, so good.
Like, I don't know if we weren't going to get that before, but I'm glad, I guess, we got delayed and saw that, because it was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was funny.
One of the ushers came out in the theater like, yeah, there's something going wrong up there. They're fixing it now.
Yeah.
Apparently there was something that went wrong during the Fathom screening of Yoga Hosers, but it was during the post-movie Q&A, so I was gone by that point. Like the next day I was in the theater, I was like, I was at fucking Yoga Hosers last night, and the girl was like, oh, sorry, the projector went out. I'm like, what? She's like, it was during the Q&A. I was like, oh, I was gone by that point.
Why couldn't that have happened during the movie?
What was there a child in the theater?
It was a special needs kid.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it was in the very front row. It took me a moment, like, what is going? Because
why are they finding just a skeleton funny?
Everything was hilarious to this kid. So I think they had a good time.
Well, that's good. Like, I didn't know if it was a child who was upset or if it was a video game ghost. Like, well, I'm glad you told me that before I made a video game ghost joke about it.
You jerk. But the Hitler joke was great.
Yeah.
That honestly, you're right. That honestly makes so much sense to me, because as that went on for like 15 or 20 minutes, I was like, why are they still in the theater? Because I thought it was a child who was scared by the movie.
Yeah.
I think they were having a good time. Like, they would make kind of shrieking noises, but I think mostly they were laughing about stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did take me a minute to be like, what is that? Oh, I see.
But
Never
mostly
mind.
when like the music was louder, you couldn't really hear it, so it wasn't too distracting except the quieter parts. But
It wasn't too often. It was like
After like 20 minutes, like, I don't know if I really heard it that much. I could hear some people behind me who were like every now and then kind of quoting along with the movie.
I didn't hear that.
I liked there was a guy like in the row behind us who tried to applaud a couple times, like get it going.
No.
There was a guy.
No.
There was someone at the very end of the movie behind me that decided to go.
Really? I didn't even hear
We're
that.
not that kind of
Yeah.
audience.
Well, you know, with this, it makes sense. But I remember being at a showing of like Harry Potter when it first aired, and someone like, woo! It's like, all right, look,
Yeah.
they're not
Yeah.
listening.
I was gonna say I could do you one better. Transformers 3 got a
God.
giant applause.
Oh
in it.
God, I'm sorry. That's no.
And there was one where it was kind of like what you just said, where it was like somebody thought the audience was way more into it than they actually were. It was probably for some YA thing, like the host maybe, and like at the end, like one person was like, "Yeah." It stopped when no one else was doing it.
You loved he did it twice, though. Like, the credits first came up, I heard them like, nothing. And then, once it popped up the end and started the next part of the credits, they tried again. No one's going along with it.
The rest of the audience is just like overrated.
There was a guy behind me when it was showing the trailers for the other Fathom events, and it was the Adam West animated Batman movie.
I can't wait for that.
There was a dude behind me that went, yeah, by himself.
The greatest thing is that'll be. I haven't even seen it yet. That'll be the best Batman movie of the year.
Yeah, that'll be funny.
You hadn't seen this movie before, did you like it?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Like you're saying, is a good thing I saw Robin Hood Man in Tights and not this before now.
I thought we were seeing young Einstein.
Yeah.
Should have totally stayed at home, watched Dracula Dead and loving it.
We're Frankenstein dead and loving it.
I was like, when does Frankenstein discover the formula for making beer?
The name's Einstein. Albert Einstein.
I don't know why Mel Brooks introed this.
Apparently he had something to... I just found out recently he had something to do with solar babies, so maybe he did.
Oh my God, Fathom Events Solar Babies.
Yes.
Fathom Events Bushwhacked.
Bushwhack. Or they do some of the lesser Mel Brooks movies, like they'll have a double feature of Dracula Dead and Loving It and Life Stinks.
Slash The Elephant Man.
Yeah, oh fuck yeah.
Really
Slash
weird
The
double
Fly.
feature.
Which one?
Slash The Fly.
Did Mel Brooks have
Yeah,
something to do with
Mel
The Fly?
Mel Brooks produced the remake of The Fly.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Apparently,
How do you know, guys?
Yeah, apparently he went around the premiere handing out little, like, fly hats to the audience.
Oh, right, and they thought it was going to be funny.
Yeah.
And then it started and it really wasn't.
The best joke of all.
That's like when Homer, so that episode of The Simpsons where Homer was Mel Brooks' limo driver, and he goes, I love that movie, Young Frankenstein. Scared the hell out of me. Mel Brooks like, thanks.
Yeah.
I still have at home the first, like, my original VHS for this that I got when I was a kid. The one that was released by, like, Key Video, where on the pictures on the back of the box are colorized, and on the side of it, it's the little picture on the side isn't, it's not a shot from the movie. It's just a picture of Mel Brooks. It's just like a stock photo of Mel Brooks. It's just on the side of the box. But Key Video would do that they would have a series they'd put out of different directors, and it would all be just like a picture of the director on the side of it.
Yeah. They showed us a lot of color photos when we were waiting endlessly for this to start, too. Some of that was interesting.
Yeah, I remember when I first saw this as a kid, because I used to watch this all the time when I was younger. I've seen this movie countless times. It's probably been a few years since I've seen it, but it's one of those that I've seen so much as a kid where even if it'd been 10 years since I'd seen it, I'd watch it tonight and feel like yesterday was only the last time I saw it. But I remember being super, super young, and either my mom or dad renting it, and I only remembered the box cover at the video store, and being like 4 years old and seeing that box cover, I thought it was a horror film, because it looks like a horror film. You're 4 years old and you see the box cover with crazy haired Gene Wilder and everything in the monster, you think it's a horror film. Like, I don't know, Dad, it might be really scary. Wait a minute, this is hilarious. Just being 4 and not getting some of the jokes in it.
Well,
What's a Schwanstucker?
I mean, I had the best first experience with this movie. I watched it as in flight on a plane at 0 o'clock in the morning because I couldn't sleep on an overnight flight back from MagFest. Truly the best way to experience Young Frankenstein.
An airplane is how I saw a a train. The Paper with
There goes Emily
Michael
Blunt.
Keaton. Yeah. I think I saw Quills on a plane.
Now,
We were planning to watch this a few times.
Yeah, we
so
kept
that
talking
finally
about it, and then
see
we saw it, like the Fathom events
Yeah.
advertising, and I'm like, let's go.
and then you
Yeah.
decide that you should go and watch Little Fockers on a plane instead.
So, well, like, you watching this on a plane, that's a step up, because you always get caught with the worst movies on an airplane, like Little Fockers and Gulliver's Travels with Jack Black. When was the first time you saw this?
I don't remember. I remember it being on TV a lot, and that's
Yeah.
probably how I watched it, just around Halloween every once in a while. I mean, I've seen it multiple times, so
Yeah.
I was familiar with it, and I have it on VHS, but... So I don't remember the first time, but it's been a few years since I'd seen it, so a lot of the jokes, you know, it was fresher for me.
Yeah.
So my memory's bad, but the part that always sticks with me, my favorite part, is always the putting on the Ritz scene.
Oh,
Yeah, that's funny.
That is a terrific scene.
And, like, I knew you would laugh at it too, and you were laughing, but you were laughing harder when they start throwing like cabbages at him.
That's my favorite part of that scene too.
Yeah.
Like me and him were laughing our asses off. Like, first of all, that's
did
your
they
own fault for giving him cabbages. When
Yeah.
they got in.
they're so disappointed in this performance.
Yeah.
Like, they're really amazed that he can walk and stuff when he's doing like the leading stuff. Like he's
Yeah.
a dog too, gives him a little treat.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, boo! He got startled by that sparking light.
It's like a second after things go bad. It's like the light blows up. It's like it's fine. And then really quick after that, like, wow, this audience wanted it to be perfect
Yeah.
or nothing. Right? This cabbages, lettuce,
Yeah.
tomatoes.
Like, that's my favorite part of that scene too.
It's great. It's
That
great.
scene perfectly encapsulates the sort of brilliance of this movie. In that it really it does a thing that comedies don't really do these days, and it really, you know, invokes the sense of the era. You can tell that Mel Brooks really went out of his way to get all the people that sort of worked on those movies in the 1930s, you know, the original Frankenstein movies, and it really has the feel of one of those movies, and then a joke will happen, and it feels really organic and really funny. The scene will start off, you know, fairly straight, and then it will just move sideways into absurdity.
Yeah.
And there's some scenes that are, because this movie I saw before I saw the James Whale movies, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, and this movie works so well as parody, and just as parody for one, and just even if you haven't seen what it's spoofing, like you won't be sitting there confused, like and then later on when I saw like Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein, they're great movies. They are. I've seen them many times, but there's quite often in them where I do kind of laugh because some scenes in this are kind of straight out of like Bride of Frankenstein. Like I'll be it's sort of like Airplane and 0 Hour in that regard, where like even in I think it's Bride of Frankenstein where Igor drops the brain because he startles himself. It's hard to see that done straight in the horror film and not kind of laugh because you're picturing Marty Feldman.
There's a lot of affection in the movie because it works as both parody and as a homage.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, and it's the perfect example of a good parody film compared to what they do now, because it's focused on one thing, but it's also something really affectionate. And it's not just focused on referencing another movie or just being sexual or over the top gross jokes. Like they have those in it, but they're funnier because it's not constant.
And it doesn't have loads of topical references.
Right.
You don't feel like everything's about 1974. That's why it holds up so well.
I love too that even though, you know, it's absurd they throw cabbages at him, like it was very true of a lot of those movies. It was the dumb crowd's fault that everything goes bad.
Like why were they throwing shit at King Kong? What did they think was gonna happen?
If anything, the sort of period setting and how well they managed to sort of, you know, replicate the old black and white movies gives it a real kind of timeless quality.
And the movie has, which a lot of parodies don't, a lot of modern parodies don't. This movie actually has heart. Like, it actually has heart to it. It's not just a soulless product. It's not like, and then Dracula comes in and farts and then walks out the door.
Well, and they would quote things from Frankenstein that you're really familiar with.
Yeah.
But they would make it funny and not just like, oh, and then Iron Man comes in and falls over. You know, it would be like he does the "It's alive!" and they have this shot of Peter Boyle just like,
Yeah.
all right, that's kind of weird.
Which makes it funny even if you haven't seen Frankenstein or Bride of Frankenstein. Like, that's still funny because of that one. Gene Wilder's always hilarious when he goes over the top, but also that reaction of Peter Boyle.
Well, there's also that kind of variance in the sort of tone, because, you know, there are the broad, slapsticky gags that Mel Brooks is known for. Yeah. But there's a lot of really quiet moments. There's a lot of really great sort of like eye rolls and, you know, reaction shots that are, you know, much subtler than, and, you know, there's a nice little variety there. It's not constantly, oh, they're falling over props and everything.
Well, there's a lot of great physical humor in this that is not just someone falling. Like, there'll be all of the gags of Peter Boyle, like his finger getting set on fire and things like that. There's also the guy with the wooden arm that's constantly like, you know, whirring it around and stuff like that.
Glad that keeps happening to Frankensteins, that there's cops like with weird wooden arms and stuff. The monster just keeps running into girls and blind guys.
It's great, and that it could be a sequel and be just as ridiculous as any of the real ones.
I've forgotten Gene Hackman's cameo in this movie.
Yeah, that was great. I was gonna make espresso.
I love when the monster's with the little girl, and, you know, it's pretty much doing the scene where the Frankenstein monster meets the little girl. It's like, what should we throw in the well next? He just looks at the camera.
You know.
Throws her in that window, which appears to have knocked her out.
That was amazing. Shoots her in off the teeter-totter.
I think the biggest laugh I get out of this is, well, most of Marty Feldman's lines. He's probably my favorite character in the movie, but that scene where Madeline Kahn shows up at the end and Marty Feldman does the darling, well, let's turn in, and then when he starts
Help me with the bags. You take the blonde one, I'll get the one in the turban.
He starts biting her, and it's like one part where Gene Wilder, you can tell he kind of cracks a little bit, because he says to Marty Feldman, like, just stop it. Like, he's kind of cracking. Like, maybe that was the 50th take they did, and that was the most he didn't bust up while doing that scene.
Marty Feldman in this movie, he really steals the show, but it's a really great performance, because so much of this movie is really kind of played straight to a certain degree. If you look at Wilder's performance, for example, he's not really mugging for the camera the entire time. You know, he goes crazy when he used to, but there are moments where he's restrained, and, you know, a lot of them aren't really playing towards the camera, which makes it so much funnier when Marty breaks it and looks straight into the camera and goes,
H. Delbrook, and looking at like he knows who that is.
One of my favorite gags is a really early one when Gene Wilder's in his classroom and he does my grandfather's work was duty. And he puts the scalpel in his leg and then he just like crosses his legs and play it cool.
Gene Wilder is a genius at that, like, of just calm, cool, and then sudden outbursts of just a manic wild man, and then reining it back in to where it does feel natural when he does it. It feels natural when he gets excited and screams, but also when he restrains himself again, and like you said, like where he just crosses his leg to cover up the fact he just stabbed himself with a scalpel.
He's got so much wonderful manic energy, but it's really controlled. It's not you know, him, you know, constantly going for the gag. I mean, that gag with the scalpel is at the end of a fairly long scene that doesn't start out with loads and loads of jokes, but it just gradually builds.
It's a great movie at build up for the payoff, which makes it better than just constant jokes being thrown at you. But it's not slow either, so it doesn't feel like, okay, here's nothing happening, we're waiting for a joke.
Yeah, it always builds up the sort of comic tension building up.
There's great callbacks too, like, of course, the horses going insane whenever Frau Blucher's name gets said, and then an hour goes by and Frau Blucher's probably not in the movie for about an hour or so, and then she comes back later and they say her name, and again, the horses come back.
Yeah.
There's so many great comedians in this. I mean, Cloris Leachman's hilarious, and you got Gene Wilder, and you got Peter Boyle. I mean,
Madeline Kahn.
Madeline Kahn, yeah.
Madeline Kahn, who could just hum to herself, and it's hilarious.
Yeah. I love once they make the monster smart at the end, and the constable's like, oh, well, this changes the whole situation then.
After, I think the monster murdered a guy in the jail cell.
Yeah. But he's smart now. It's okay.
Well, that changes everything. And the crowd is instantly okay with this. They're like, well, he can talk. So.
It was a beautiful speech.
Yeah, it was a wonderful speech.
And it's really accurate to the movies, the actual Frankenstein movies. Like, the crowds are so stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's like, it's funny too, because Frankenstein was supposed to be his grandfather, so clearly this is not set during that time. I'm not sure what time period it's supposed to be.
I was trying to figure that out
Maybe early 1900s, maybe?
I was trying to get a look at the date on the Wall Street Journal that he was reading there at the end. It did look like it said 1974, so maybe it takes place in 74.
I love it. Because I'm like, is it supposed to be the 70s? Like, why are they all like going around in like lederhosen and shit?
Just Transylvania. Maybe that's it. Transylvania's is still stuck in that time period.
I love everyone in Transylvania speaks English too, or like with a slight German accent.
Yeah.
I did have a theory, because that scene at the very end where he's in bed, maybe this is all just a prequel to Everybody Loves Raymond.
There was an episode of that show where on Halloween he was dressed like the monster.
Nice.
I just kept thinking
nice.
of Puchinsky. So good.
You said at the beginning when they were showing like little trivia.
Yeah.
You lean over to me and you're like, Peter Boyle once said he prefers Puchinsky over
True fact.
Was he drunk? I got to be a dog.
Way better.
It was the high point of my career.
I also loved Pluto Nash.
He's been in classics, but I question his taste.
Where's the Fathom Events Pluto Nash coming?
Fuck yeah.
Real soon.
Yeah.
It'll start up, and then all of a sudden, it's time for a riff track.
That makes sense. Now I get it. I'm like, first of all, why was I even here not thinking it was a riff track for Pluto Nash?
Can you imagine? Peter Boyle dies, and they're like, in honor of Peter Boyle's career, Pluto Nash.
I would go.
Puchinsky on the big screen.
Yeah.
That would look horrifying on the big screen.
But you would go in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Okay. Fuck yeah. Was there anything about seeing this movie again that you noticed on the big screen, but maybe didn't like watching it before?
The makeup and stuff. You could see like the lines and how they applied it, and on VHS it's a little bit harder. So there's some of those things that you notice, but. I mean, it was great being able to see it like this because it was a nice print of it and seeing it on the big screen and
the audience was really receptive to it.
Yeah, with a big crowd like that was fun.
Yeah, I think it was a really nice way to see it for the first time.
Yeah. I think there was... Because I don't know how many times I've seen this movie widescreen, honestly, because I grew up with the VHS, which most certainly was not in widescreen. So watching it again here, I don't think I ever noticed before that in the Putting on the Ritz scene, Marty Feldman is playing the piano.
Like blink and you miss it. Because he doesn't have the hood on or anything either.
I mean, I always noticed it when he comes in at the end at the end of that scene when he knocks out Gene Wilder, but I didn't realize until seeing it tonight, like, oh, Igor's playing the piano. Okay. Makes sense.
I like that you never really know if his name's actually Igor, if he just said that to fuck with him.
He said it to fuck with him.
Yeah, I know, but then he just goes by it the whole movie.
Yeah,
so.
but I love that you can't tell if he just has a fake hump to fuck with people.
That too.
Keep switching around.
Yeah, like everything about this guy is like how much is real.
I do love that he keeps carrying on through the movie calling Gene Wilder, Froderick.
Yeah.
Frederick. Or sometimes he'll just, yes, master. He goes back and forth. I don't know why I laughed so much. I think I was probably the one in the theater laughing the loudest at this.
I don't know, I laughed pretty loud at when the girl was shot back into the window.
Well, that,
Yeah,
when
great.
the whole, you just made a yummy sound. Wait, didn't. Well, if it wasn't you, it wasn't you. Like, I was probably laughing the loudest in that scene. I don't know why.
It is funny in that movie to say yummy sound.
Yeah, it
Yummy
is. It is, and that, like, Igor is just so confused in that scene, because if, like, I'm imagining I'm in that situation and someone says, oh, you like it? Oh, well, I'll give you the recipe, or whatever the line is. I don't know if that would confuse me. It's in this. He's, who are you talking to? It's really funny. Yeah. You just made a yummy sound. So we don't recommend this.
No. It's really cheap. They got the set for like $5 or something.
Yeah, you could tell the castle was a painting, and it's black and white. I mean, this is the 70s, people. Come on. What's Mel Brooks gonna make next? A silent movie?
I love too, one of the trivia things was like, true or false, the studios loved when they said they're gonna film it in black and white.
Yeah.
It seems like something they
I did love the way that Brooks told that story when he was at Columbia and he just got chased out.
Yeah.
And then these Jews chased me out. You can't film this in black and white. Don't worry, the back of the VHS will be in black and white. And the still shots when they showed it at a Fathom event 40 years later. What does that mean?
I like when he's making fun of Fox. He said, like, they wanted to call it Mel Brooks Alley. He's like, I told them to call it Boulevard, and they did. So that's how stupid Fox is.
Yeah, I liked looking at that list of the other movies that were shot on that set.
Mm-hmm.
I saw X-Files on there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Omen 2.
Yes, two on there. I can't remember what a lot of them were, but there were a couple of them listed where I was like, well, that's not as good as Young Frankenstein. But it's on this plaque.
John Trapper, MD.
Yeah, Trapper John MD was one. Modern Family.
Hey, that's a historical significance, guys.
True. Modern Family is the very first mockumentary-style TV series. Any final thoughts before I melt?
Yeah.
It feels like reviewing it in the summer again.
It turned into a sauna in here.
Yeah. God, it's been actually like really cool fall weather the past couple weeks, but suddenly it's July again.
Yeah.
Today. God.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but I'd recommend it. I mean, like, even if you don't see it, I guess you can't see it on the big screen now. Maybe there's
Too bad.
Yeah, is there an encore of it?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Okay, well, you missed it, but you can still watch it because it's a
very
comedy
easily
classic,
watch
so.
this.
You can pick up the Blu-ray easily.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes they do encores even if one hasn't been scheduled.
Okay.
Right now, this is the only screening scheduled, but I noticed like later this month on the Fathom listing, it was like, back by popular demand, an encore presentation of Rob Zombie's 31. Like, okay, well, there might be one extra one for Young Frankenstein then, if 31 is getting an encore presentation.
No, everyone prefers 31 to Young Frankenstein. Everyone knows that.
Rob Zombie probably does. So we're going to be back over the next few days with movies that won't be as good as this.
What are you talking about? I think that Masterminds is going to be a classic.
That and middle school, worst years of my life. It'll be great. See ya.